I love it. I love it. Will is spicy, everybody. Will is spicy.
Are we
He's
live?
here to go after the bad Twitter takes on our big Bronco winners.
They're not even bad per se. They're just missing the point.
Yeah, they are missing.
They're too film, all 22 pilled. And I'll remind you guys that the only stat that matters is wins and losses.
This is how people do wins and losses, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually.
That's normal.
Did you just come up with that?
Yeah. Big win. Big win for the Broncos over the Saints tonight. What was the final score? 33-10?
Yeah, the one Jake Haener garbage time touchdown.
Yeah.
Against, I think it was Devin Key in coverage.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it looked like they just kind of let him score there. I think they just wanted to go home.
I think Sean was giving him one.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I thought Sean was going to bust out like a double reverse flea flicker at some point in this game.
He didn't have to. I think he had one ready.
Really yeah.
I think he had one ready for sure.
But I thought he would like really want to stick it to him. And I think he kind of waved the white flag a little bit.
Yeah. It was a game where you almost kind of felt bad for the New Orleans Saints, where they came into the game with their top two receivers out, their tight end gadget guy, Taysom Hill, out, their starting quarterback out. Then they lose Paulson Adebo, one of their corners. And then they lost, was it Lattimore went out too?
Lattimore went out.
Lattimore left the game.
Paulson Adebo broke his femur.
Is that what he did? He broke his femur?
Which is really bad.
Did they show the replay of it?
I didn't see a replay, but he was down for a while, and apparently he went straight to the hospital.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see. I just saw they were wrapping his leg in that like compression thing, and I was like, that probably means it's not good.
Yeah, two weeks in a row with really bad
breaks
and legs.
Yeah, that sucks. Already decimated team, but the Broncos dominated. Like there's no getting around the fact that the Denver Broncos rushed for over 200 yards in this game.
225.
What's the last 200 plus rushing yard game the Broncos have had?
I think probably Clinton Portis. No, I mean, it's definitely been a while.
It feels like a long time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And coming here after a tough loss.
I appreciate that, Brute Saint. You are a Brute Saint. True to the name. Yeah, it's a weird spot, I think, for both teams. One, the Saints fans know their team is just in a bad spot right now for things they can't really control.
Yeah.
Broncos fans needed to see the Broncos get a win. And I think going into this game, this was a game they should win. And then they won decisively.
Mm-hmm.
But they did it with a lot of rushing yards. 75 from Bo Nix as well.
Yeah.
But it's one of those games where, outside of that, Bo Nix, 164 passing yards, no TDs, no interceptions, also no sacks. When you're having no picks and no sacks, it's kind of crazy how little you actually need your quarterback to do.
Right.
If your defense is elite, and the Broncos' defense is elite, they didn't have Pat Surtain. They still dominated this game, which they should have. But it's like if Sean Payton didn't see the winning formula tonight, which is run the football, Javonte had 14 carries. So I said, what did we say last time we talked? He has got to get at least 15.
Get 15, yeah. So we got pretty darn close.
Yeah. 10 rushes from Bo Nix for those 75 yards. And then you sprinkle in McLaughlin and Estime, which is nice. And it looked like there was a couple more like read options for Bo Nix tonight. And he took off and ran. And
I think I said last time we talked is you gotta run like 2 read options a game.
Yeah.
With Bo.
And they might have ran exactly 2.
Yeah, I think they did 2. He kept one of them, and then I think handed one off to Javonte. But just so nice to see Javonte. Like, he was so close to breaking off that long one too early in the game. I think in the second quarter. But just, a tough game against the Chargers for sure. They weren't really in a place to commit to the run game, but just got more burst another year removed from the injury. And then to get in the end zone twice. Like, I think a big part of it too is getting McGlinchey back.
Yeah.
He's been on ice for a while, and they just got a lot of good push on the offensive line.
Yeah, I think like who's the tackle that they had in there that got hurt? Alex
Palshevsky.
I'll never be able to say that name. He played well, and then he got hurt, and then the other guy was like Pert.
Yeah, Matt Pert.
Matt Pert, and he played well. But I think like you can see McGlinchey just a vet, a little bit better. The Saints had no pass rush at all. I felt like.
Yeah, when they did, Bo found a way to like just wiggle out of it, which he's just is clearly a part of his game. Seeing it through 6 starts, like,
yeah,
he's a guy that, this kind of is weird to say, but like, he's got some early career Russell Wilson in him.
Sure,
But
no, I get that.
Extending the plays and turning them into touchdowns or anything, but he's just like a total escape artist.
Yeah.
And I think if they can figure out, if he can keep his eyes downfield on a few of those and they work back to the ball and they perfect the scramble drill, like, that could turn out to be a really, really good weapon while he's, figuring out his footwork, because obviously
that's what it comes down to. Like his missed throws, I think, are footwork issues. They call it happy feet, right? Little dancing feet there. And this is a good time for me to bring this in real quick here. Hold on. Efforting. Got it. You going after old Billy Simmons here. But this was the missed throw, right? They showed a close up of his feet kind of moving there. And I do like that you say this guy gets 1 20-point loss out of Drake May and thinks he's high and mighty. Very good tweet by Will.
Thank you.
It was an overthrow. It was a bad miss, but like to say
bad play.
Funniest part of the decade, like you just have it out for the guy if you're tweeting shit like that. With a platform as big as Bill Simmons has, that's just a straight hater tweet.
Says a guy who watched Mac Jones for 3 years.
Yeah.
I guarantee that's not in the top 5 funniest plays of Mac Jones'
season?
Illustrious run with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Just give me a break, Bill.
I know
Drake May threw 3 touchdown passes and turned the ball over 3 times against the Texans. Well, let's not get ahead of our skis here. Billiam.
I feel like your Drake May take's going to be a little harsher this coming week.
That's the terrible part about it, because I have always liked Drake May, and now people like Bill Simmons are forcing me to reverse course here.
Yeah. And you've liked Bill Simmons as well.
I like Bill Simmons. I listened to his podcast, but just a cheap shot, unwarranted, and people are missing the forest for the trees here, because every all 22 nerd takeaway from this game is just going to be, oh, Bo looked bad. Bo missed some passes. Yeah, he did. He also won the game. He ran for 75 yards. I know he threw what should have been a pick to Matthew, but ended up not turning the ball over and not taking any sacks, like we said, and just played within himself. And you really didn't need to do a lot.
No.
to beat the Saints team, and they had a perfect game plan and executed it pretty well.
Yeah. I think when the Broncos settled for their second field goal during the stream, I said, I'll take the 3 points here because, like, I don't think the Saints are going to be able to score points quickly or effectively. That was up 6-0. I was like, I didn't say I think it's in the bag, but I was like, if we settle for field goals all night, it's fine because the Saints are starting a backup quarterback, one we like in Spencer Rattler, with no weapons to throw to. So I against a very good defense, I wasn't worried about it. With Bo Nix, like, he's got to make that first throw he misses. Like, he does have to figure that out. But again, that's a thing that if he's missing that throw, say in December, or if he's missing that throw next season, then I'll start to worry about it. Unless they're still winning. Like, maybe he's just the kind of quarterback where he's going to float a few passes and you're just going to have to kind of live with it. And I think the worst pass was the one to Tyrann Mathieu that was dropped. Like, this one, he's missing two of his own guys. He kind of overthrows one, but it's not a pick. That other throw went right to Tyrann Mathieu and was dropped. So I'd be more concerned about that one than this one.
I have to assume, and maybe this is me just like kind of looking through rose-colored glasses, but I have to assume that was like a miscommunication.
Sure.
But yeah, no, of course not.
I don't care why. I'm saying that one's more concerning if we're talking about the specific throw. I'm not saying it means he's a bad quarterback, Will. I'm just saying that one was worse.
I'm not lumping you in with
I'm not Bill
Mr.
Simmons. Thank you. Eric,
not Bill Simmons.
I appreciate that, man. I am glad you beat cancer twice. And shout out to everybody who was watching during the game. We raised $26,000 during the stream for Solving Kids Cancer, $42,000 total. I appreciate all of you who showed up for that. Absolutely insane. You guys are awesome. A coach snapped a clipboard like that time Chuck Pagano did with CJ Anderson. I don't remember that, Delta. Can you send me links to all the times so I don't have to research it?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It seems like a hard thing to find.
I remember the 4th and 1 for sure. I don't remember the clipboard snapping, but
yes, 100%. Javonte is almost back, and I don't think the weakness of the Saints is necessarily their run defense yet.
It was pretty bad against the Buccaneers.
Yeah, but I guess it was really bad. Maybe it is their weakness. They had that's right. They had almost 300 yards almost, but 197 that came in the fourth quarter.
Right.
But I don't know. You're right. But yes, the formula is for the Broncos to run more. Maybe the Saints' run defense is horrible. Maybe we took advantage of a bad team on a short week. I don't care. The Broncos, they're a winning record again. They're 4-3. We get the Panthers next, right, Will?
Panthers in 10 days. You have, the mini bye. You have 10 days to prepare for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. I am not going to apologize for taking advantage of parts of a schedule that are going to be favorable to this team.
Because it gets hard,
Yeah. We have had nothing to be excited about for 8 years watching the Broncos, really. And as soon as we started getting excited about them last year, we watched, the Russell Wilson that will lose you games kind of emerge. The guy who would take 3 or 4 sacks, would kill some bad drives, and get, like, the Patriots game is the best example of one that I think Russ single-handedly kind of cost the team. Right now, somebody said it. I think it was the post. I think I heard it somewhere. And there's the Broncos kind of have a no-name defense, and I kind of like that as a name for the defense. Just the no-name defense, outside of Pat Surtain. It's just Pat Surtain and the no-name defense is kind of a cool nickname because Cody Barton, who we were like, he kind of had a rough game last week, fucking was all over the place. Should have scored 2 touchdowns in this game, and Jaquan McMillan, the third corner, keeps balling out of his mind. He forced the fumble that popped into Barton's hands. Yeah. Another solid game from Jaquan. And I said this during the stream, but somebody posted like a corner chart, and you could see like Surtain and Moss up in the right corner. And then somebody pointed out Jaquan McMillan was there. He's like, they made a little triangle. He's like, let's call him the Bermuda Triangle. I was like, I like that nickname too. So when people are thinking of cool nicknames for your defense, pretty fucking good. Pretty fucking good. Again, let's beat the Saints or the Panthers' asses, and then let's do it against a good team. If we just barely beat the Chiefs, then all of the people who are annoying you on Twitter will shut the fuck up for a couple weeks. That's my take. And I agree, they do need to shut up.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said it, but releasing the All-22 to the general public is one of the great errors in human history.
It might be. Thank you, Slightly Ticklish. Thank you. I know you made a good donation in there too, man. I appreciate it. What else were you feeling tonight, Will?
I think my general takeaway was this is what good teams do. Like you're in a tough spot going on the road on a short week, and with all the emotion surrounding the Sean Payton return and the Drew Brees coronation at halftime.
Yeah.
And there was like a part of me that was a little bit worried, just like, oh, the Saints don't have anybody. They're totally depleted. And I was thinking back to that 2021 Thursday night game against the Browns where Baker was out and Nick Chubb was out, and we got carved up by Case Keenum and Dearness Johnson.
Yeah.
And I was a little worried, like there was, to use a Bill Simmons-ism, the Ewing theory. But I think there were probably too many guys out for the Saints for them to really be competitive.
Yeah.
But good teams beat up on bad teams, and that's what they did. Like, you can't apologize for a victory, and you certainly don't need to apologize for a 23-point victory on the road, no matter who your opponent is. And just, the defense without Surtain, like they adjusted.
Yeah.
I think Vance Joseph adjusted in that second half against the Chargers. And was like, all right, let's trust these corners a little bit. I know, Riley Moss isn't Surtain, but he's going to hold up against Bub Means and Mason Tipton. So let's send some pressure at Rattler. And they got home 6 times.
Sacked him 6 times, old Spency.
Yeah, if you can win the turnover battle, which they did, and you can be +6 in the sack column, like you're going to win a lot of games, and you score a defensive touchdown too. The one thing I really was missing was a Riley Moss interception, because a white corner pick on national TV, I think, would have been
it might have broke Twitter.
Yeah.
It might have broken Twitter. Yeah, and talking about like good teams beating up on bad teams, that's kind of like a little bit where the Bills have been this season. They played the Ravens and just got outworked. And it feels like maybe the Bills will get back to form with the addition of Amari Cooper. That's one piece that they're adding to help boost their offense. I think the Broncos have they're a couple pieces away on offense in terms of skill players that they're going to need to help Bo Nix. And Bo Nix is going to need some help.
Yeah, for sure.
To become like a dangerous passer in a good way. But the one thing, like the things that he's doing right now, outside of those first 2 weeks, he's being safe with the football. He's not doing stupid shit. He's extending plays. And, if the Broncos can get over 150 yards, I think that's what they got to get to. They will beat a couple good teams, and they will be in contention for a playoff spot. I'm going to stand by that until, if they play the Chiefs and get their ass kicked the same way they got, handled by the Chargers for 3 quarters, then I'll change how I view this team. But it's like they're just doing so well on so many levels, from defense to special teams. And we're just watching a developing quarterback who was the 5th quarterback taken, and it's gonna take some time. And I don't think anybody actually knows how good Bo Nix can be. A lot of people want to say I see it, Kenny Pickett 2.0. You're just saying that because Tree's saying that shit. I don't think that's a fair comparison. I don't think those two are really anything alike in terms of how they actually play, but I don't know. I'm saying we don't know yet. We don't know where his ceiling is.
No, I mean, yeah, I get the comparison that they both are kind of stacking wins while their defense is playing well, but no, it's just too early to say that.
Was Pickett getting 75 rushing yards in the game?
Not as I recall, but
thank you, Drew.
Fact check us on that.
Yeah, we are smiling. We are happy. You can't take away this victory from us. Yeah, I still think it would be fun to see the Broncos make a move at the trade deadline for a receiver, like we've been saying. I don't know if they will.
Yeah, I mean, who's available at this point? That would be a difference maker.
I don't know. Wonder. PS2 and XMOS. No, okay, it's PS2 good. In the Game Boy, or it's PS2 in the Dreamcast.
I like the Dreamcast. I think Dreamcast works well as a.
You like mine? That was mine. Somebody else said Game Boy, but
PS2 and PS5. But if he was only number 5, because the PS5 is a white console.
PS2 and PS5.
We're leaning a little too hard into the skin color thing.
It's all right, just Timmy. You guys did a great job tonight. Oh, little Jake Plummer in him?
Yeah, I see that for sure. Sure. He's a little wild at times. He is a more effective, like, because you weren't running any like designed QB runs with Jake Plummer. They're definitely using his mobility, his scramble ability.
Yeah.
But I do kind of see that a lot, and a good Jake Plummer on a good defensive team like you saw. That could bring you in 2005.
That's actually a really good comp, I think, because
I agree. I've heard that a few times, and I've always thought, like, yeah, it makes sense.
I haven't heard that, but it makes sense too, because like when I'm saying we don't know who Bo Nix can be, I really mean that. But like Jake Plummer at his best, with your good defense, he could beat any team. But he was never so good that like if things were like kind of going bad, he was gonna truly carry the team, just by throwing his way out of it or whatever. Sometimes that type of quarterback makes a situation worse because they're trying to do something and, they force a turnover or do something silly. But like it's leadership, it's toughness. And I think Bo has those things. And I think that's only going to get better through time as well on this team. And I think Sean Payton and him genuinely like each other. Even if Sean Payton says weird things that don't really make a ton of sense. But I think it's good and it works. And one last thing before whatever point you're about to make, I thought we might see A.T. Perry tonight because he was a Saint that we picked up, right? That's a Saints receiver, right?
Yeah. He was Sam Hartman's top target at Wake Forest, and then I think he had 4 touchdowns for the Saints a year ago. So it was kind of perplexing to see them cut him, especially they probably wish they had him now.
Yeah, exactly. He's got like some speed, right? Some playmaking ability.
Yeah. He was a good deep threat in college. I liked him.
Shout out Scorpios, Xavier. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, Fat Surtain. That is my favorite avatar. How many years does Pat Surtain need to be retired before he puts on that kind of weight? I'm thinking 20. I feel like he's a naturally fit guy.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at, let's see Pat Surtain the first.
Yeah. Dude,
and then we'll calibrate based off of that.
That's fair. I think the Broncos defensive line's really freaking good too.
Yeah, Zach Allen's a monster.
Zach Allen, Roach, Franklin Meyer, like All of those guys.
You see that play where Roach was like dropped 15 yards into coverage and almost like got his hands on the ball?
Um.
I put it in the script, but
Okay. I think the
that like blew
Saints
my
had a
mind.
guy like a defensive lineman who dropped into coverage and also made like a nice play. But yeah, Roach is doing that. And who was the let me see here. Jordan, where's Jordan? Jordan Jackson. Alvin
Yeah.
Kamara just like ran into him and it was like he hit a brick wall.
Yeah.
The Broncos knew, like, I think just take Alvin Kamara out of the game. That's like their only weapon. And they did a very good job at that. This is one of the worst games I've seen Kamara have. Like, he got 7 carries and 6 passes thrown to him and just 24 yards.
Yeah.
Like, that's nice.
Definitely
That's nice for your defense.
clearly like I didn't think he was gonna play like on a short week, but yeah, they really couldn't get anything going until garbage time on the ground. I know Rattler had a 20-something yard carry.
Yeah.
But no, they just did a good job shutting them down up front. Benito now has a sack in 5 straight games. We're approaching I know he's not a complete player or anything, but
No.
you got to be feeling pretty good about that pick at this point.
Yeah. It's the Broncos are generating so much pressure and they're doing it in various ways. And it's nice. And we're gonna sack Andy Dalton a handful of times. They're like a team like the Falcons who you watch who can't sack the quarterback at all.
Yeah.
Like I want the Broncos just to move to the NFC South. I think Broncos would be first place there, and they would be the clear-cut best team in the NFC South.
Yeah, no, instead we've got Kansas City who's
and we've got a Chargers team who is, I think,
locked into the playoffs
sneakily getting to be like a tough football team. And yeah, the names, dude, we're gonna have some writing to do for all the names on the Saints. They've got Orgy, they've got Gay, they've got Groupie, they've got there's another one in there I wrote down. Kool-Aid came in, Kool-Aid McKinstry came in. Will and I will be doing some of our finest work late tonight and into tomorrow for the recap. Don't you worry, guys. We won't let you down.
Yeah, I think if you
Deontay makes more sense than Mike Williams for the Broncos, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think Mike Williams, you have like a bunch of guys that fit that archetype. I just think if Michael Thomas was good, he'd be on a team,
a roster.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The Cortland Sutton, like you said at the beginning of the pod, didn't have a catch tonight. I thought we were going to get a bigger dose of Devon Bailey because he had that 20-yard gain. I think that was the first quarter, right?
Well, I think he had one called back too.
That's right.
Mims dropped one, and the haters will not, they'll ignore that.
That was Bo Nix's fault, according to everybody.
Yeah. Nice to see the Kroll show get involved a little bit.
Yeah.
Just incredible to see some production out of your tight end. Thank you, Phantasm. I'm a big fan of yours. And then, Troy Franklin is coming along. Like he's a bit of a body catcher still, but and I hold my breath every time he gets his hands on the football.
Sure. But he made a really tough catch tonight. He made a difficult catch in this game.
Yeah, you can see that, Bo trusts him, and, he was open in the first quarter for sure. I think, look, Bo got confused. Usually you don't see 2 guys wide open on the same play. And I'm going to chalk that up to the defense was so bad that it was good.
Yeah. No, I think like that's probably a throw where you can look at the footwork, but you can also, like, if Bo's being honest, he probably did see the first guy open, and as he's throwing it, he sees the second guy open, and maybe you're like, maybe I can get it to that guy who's even further down the field, even more open, and you just kind of you split the difference and it looks as bad as it looked. Maybe that's what happened too.
Yeah. Well, let's get Bill Simmons on here and we can explain it to him.
Yeah. The fact that Bill hasn't given us a call yet shows he's slipping. He is slipping. He doesn't have the fire anymore, I don't think.
No, well, having 5 houses will do that to you.
Yeah. Yes. I'm certainly streaming during the Chiefs game. And if Will wants to join me, he is more than welcome.
I think I might have to because last time we streamed together, they did beat the Chiefs.
Oh, nice.
So
well, then we probably got to do it again.
Yeah, it only makes sense.
When do we play the Chiefs?
I think it is 3 weeks from now, maybe 2. So I know our upcoming games are like in some order.
Oh, we got the Panthers. And then we got the Ravens and the Chiefs. All right.
I'm already overlooking the Panthers. That's not good.
So we'll be 5. Hopefully we'll be 5-3 after the Panthers. And then if we can just split Chiefs Ravens, I'll feel very confident about this team. And honestly, I think it'd be more impressive if the Broncos beat the Ravens than the Chiefs right now.
No, I agree. Like, yeah, you'd love to win 1 of 2 against Kansas City, obviously.
Yeah,
who knows? Kansas City could still be undefeated by that point.
Here's a hot take. I like the matchup for the Broncos against the Ravens. I think we can slow down the run game, and I think Lamar's going to struggle against our secondary. I don't think guys are getting too open against the Broncos secondary, assuming Pat Surtain's back and healthy by then.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, like, that's the first job is to, control their running game and not let Derrick Henry put up 150. But, like, historically, they've done a pretty good job against Derrick Henry. I know that was a different team.
No, they have. I think that game, if the Ravens win that game, Lamar is going to run for like $150, honestly.
Yeah,
that might be how they do it. That's the problem with the Ravens. You can shut down 2 parts of their offense, but they always have a third.
Yeah, I could see them like that being like a time of possession game.
Sure.
But yeah, I think a close game against the Ravens would be nice on the road.
Sure. I'll take a close game against the Ravens any day.
Yeah, and then the Chiefs, obviously, you want to beat. Like, you want to just destroy them.
Well, we'll see. We got to keep running the ball effectively. I think that's the key for the Broncos. I am your favorite sports honky, George. Thank you so much. I'm going to get to bed. It's been a long night. Again, we raised $26,000 during the Broncos Saints live stream, $42,000 total, all because of you guys. I appreciate every single cent that was donated. Will, I appreciate you. And Will and I will work on giving a good recap for this game. And I'm going to enjoy watching football on Sunday where I can just watch whatever I want. Maybe I'll stream a game. I don't know yet.
Yeah. Any good games this weekend? 49ers Chiefs, perhaps?
Ooh, yeah. Maybe I should stream that one.
That'd be pretty good.
Oh, man. David. Last $5 to a good cause and a content creator. But if you curse the lines again, it's on site, respectfully. Thank you, David. David, also, save your money now. Save your money now. Tree watched Bo play a bad game, and so now Tree thinks that's just exactly who he is. He watched him in the Steelers game. I get it. But he don't know. He don't know, Bo. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Good night.
And God bless Bo Nix.
And John Elway plays his entire career without an ACL.
And good luck.
We're going to add one more tag to that, I swear.
Yeah,
it's going to get longer and longer and longer.